Okay, so let's hear your 2 truths and a lie.
2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
So, I won the lottery. I've ran 3 marathons in one summer. And I've eaten oatmeal every day for lunch for a year. Which one do you think is the lie?
I mean, like when I won $5, I think I won the lottery on a scratch ticket. So
Well,
that could be relative.
like if we're focusing on I won the lottery, like how much did you win? Did you win the big? Like make this lie really good. Like
Yeah, I won the big jackpot.
I'm gonna go with lottery, man.
Yeah, I think that made it for me.
You don't think I'm a winner? You don't think that's possible?
I mean,
No,
I think you're a winner. Totally.
But
Wow.
I also think you are a seasoned E6 who's been on deployment before. And if you won the big lottery, I think that seat would be empty today.
So I won $50,000 on a $5 scratch ticket back in 2012.
No kidding.
So it's actually possible.
That's
So,
amazing. Where at? What gas station?
It was a gas station in Idle Falls. I forget what it was called, but
Okay.
yeah, we were going to the new Batman movie, and my buddy wouldn't pay for my drinks. I didn't want to pay for it on my debit card, just the drinks. So I bought some drinks, bought 3 scratch tickets. I went into the movie theater, started scratching a ticket, loser. $5, sweet. 5, 10, 20, it keeps going up. I'm like, oh, the movie's starting. I fold the ticket up, and I put it in my pocket. I don't even know that I won, right?
Oh man.
Watched the movie, stayed at my buddy's house. Next day I'm going home, stop at a gas station, and I go and scan it in. The machine goes crazy. And all it prints out a ticket and it says claim in Boise. At the time I lived in Pocatello. And I was like, this is crazy. What is this, right? So I keep scratching. And I find out I won $1,000. And I'm like, that's insane. I won $1,000. Fold it back up, put it in my pocket. I'm so excited. So as I'm driving home, I'm thinking like, okay, I just came back from deployment. I got a friend, and I always told him if I ever won the lottery, that'd help me get back in college. So like, you know what? I'm determined. I'm gonna give this money to my buddy, right? $1,000.
Wow.
I get home, unfold the ticket, and in the crease where I folded the ticket was the word essence. I'll never forget it. I had the 2 S's. I didn't realize it. I scratched the S's. It was one of those crossword puzzles, and I realized I won $50,000.
Wow.
And I freaked out. Like I was screaming, I was yelling. My roommate wasn't home. I went outside because I had to see if this was true. Went across to my neighbor and I showed him the ticket. I was like, is this true? Is this true? And I wasn't letting go of it because I didn't sign the back of the ticket. So he could have taken it and would have been his ticket, right? And he's like, dude, you just won $50,000. So
that's awesome.
I was blown away. And I don't know if you guys are religious or anything, but I went to my buddy and I told him, I won this big jackpot. I'm going to go claim it. I told you if I ever won a lottery, I'd help you get back in school. So I asked him, he doesn't know how much it is yet. I asked him, how much do you need to get back in school? He says, about $5,000. All right. So what does God say to tithe, right? 10%?
10%.
What's 10% of $50,000?
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't know how much it was. Okay. So it was a crazy experience.
That is so
but
cool.
it's possible you can win on scratch tickets. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I love that story.
Me too. That
So
justifies all my scratch.
The actual lie was I've never ran a marathon. I'm planning to this summer. I've always wanted to.
Roby just closed. You missed out.
I know.
You could have done a half marathon.
I've done a half before. I've done a half. I've done the Norwegian Ruck. That was about 18.1 miles. But I've never ran a full marathon. And it's just one of those mental things that, like, less than 1% of people will do it. I want to be part of that less than 1%.
Oh.
So someday he'll run.
So
a marathon.
driven, determined.
Yeah.
I love that. All right.
Which means that you've had oatmeal every day for lunch for a year.
Yeah,
What's that about?
So when I was getting out of debt, basically we had one car, and I rode a motorcycle year-round. And I wanted to get out of debt so bad that every day I bought a big thing of oatmeal from Costco, and I ate oatmeal for a year to get out of debt.
Wow.
And then rode a motorcycle around year-round in Idaho, in Boise, Idaho, because, insurance for a motorcycle is $75 for the year.
Right.
And then, like, gas, I filled it up every other week for $12.
Right.
So, been out of debt since 2019, and feels amazing.
Good for you. Oatmeal and motorcycles.
But besides my house,
Give me a second.
caveat.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Dave
Incredible.
Ramsey for the inspiration.
Yeah. That was.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
All right. 4 minutes and 50 seconds into the podcast. Financial advice. Staff Sergeant Cruz.
Oatmeal and motorcycles.
Amazing.
That's right.
Good morning. It's season 3 of GI and a Cup of Joe. Thank you all for making seasons 1 and 2 a huge success. Again, I'm your co-host, Annie T.
And I am Justin C. It's pretty badass to hear all these stories of how everyday regular people with everyday regular struggles took a chance to better themselves with the opportunities in the Idaho Army National Guard.
And they didn't just do it for themselves, they did it for their families, future, past, and present. Officially, I'm Sergeant First Class Annie Torres.
And I am Command Sergeant Major Justin Cole. We encourage everyone listening to dress right dress.
Which is like, share, and subscribe.
Enjoy Season 3. Today, we're here talking to officially Staff Sergeant Andrew Cruz, but honestly, he's just Andrew to us. Where did you attend high school? What kind of student were you?
So I went to American Falls High School. I was a pretty good student, got A's and B's, but I wasn't naturally smart, so I had to work like extra hard to get those grades. Some people just pick it up really fast. Some people don't need studying and just go and take a test. I wasn't like that. Started homeschooling, and then I went to high school later and finished out at American Falls. Played sports. Track, wrestling, golf. I always tried out for the basketball team, and I never made it. 8th grade, freshman year, and sophomore year, I tried out. I never could make it. And then sophomore year, they were like, wrestling, we just take anybody at wrestling. Okay, well, I can't make it in
You're a
basketball.
shoo-in.
I'm going to start wrestling. So I started wrestling in high school and ended up loving it. Ended up being really decent at it. Couldn't really keep up with people as far as skill-wise. I had to outwork them to beat them because
Sure.
they've had years and years of wrestling experience. So I was just focusing on cardio, learning what I could in the short amount of time I could. And, placed at a few tournaments, went to state junior and senior year. Ended up taking 4th my senior year.
Really?
But yeah, and on top of all the sports, I was also in drama. So I did plays.
Wow.
I was in competitive drama.
What?
Did like
Competitive drama?
pantomiming and stuff. I kind of was in with all the crowds.
No way, that is
Yeah,
so
it
cool.
is-
Pantomiming.
Yeah, pantomiming.
So a thespian as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Man, you got a huge signature block.
kind of do it all.
Good.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of experience everything.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
I would have to say PE because
PE.
you work out, play games. Like
That's fair.
that was actually my senior year. I took 2 PE classes back to back, and yeah, I'd say PE.
What about a class that you struggled with the most?
Struggling with was probably English, and I would say because I'm not much of a reader, more of a I'll listen
Movie
to
watcher?
Movie watcher. If it's good enough, I'll wait till it comes out in a movie. But
That's how I was too.
listen to audiobooks sometimes, but just can't get into reading. It puts me right to sleep.
That's fair.
It is fair. It is fair.
That's awesome. So thinking back to your senior year, what kind of path did you set out for yourself when you were 17?
So I was really, really into skateboarding all growing up, and I had a fantasy in my mind that I was going to be a professional skateboarder. And outside of sports, that's all I did was skate, 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 skate. And come to find out, you can't really make much money skateboarding, and it's really hard to get into. But that's originally was my dream. I'm going to start skateboarding. My parents really, really pressured me into college, and they had some student debt, and I didn't ever want to have that. And so I was like, well, I'll do it, but there's got to be a way to, not have to pay for it, because I'm not going to do something that I don't want to do in the first place and pay for it.
Right.
So that kind of wore me off. But yeah, I really didn't have any direction on what I wanted to be when I grew up. I just knew skateboarding was a dream. But
Was there a big skate park down in American Falls?
there wasn't, no.
Okay.
We were skateboarding on churches because they had nice little steps to jump
Yeah.
off of, church parking lots, school parking lots.
There's not much in American Falls.
There's not.
I was gonna
no.
say, there's-
They recently,
yeah.
it's funny because after I left AF, they ended up building a skate park.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So right when I leave, they
Of
build
course.
it.
Oh, yeah.
So if I
That's
wanted
how
to
it
go
happened.
skate, I had to go to Pocatello or Burley or Idaho Falls and find a skate park. But
did you go to the X Games when they were here in Boise?
I did the first time they came.
Yeah?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I
It's a
still
fun event.
I still skate, but now, yeah, I do.
Got some sweet jumps.
I'm okay at vert. I'm more of a street guy, but right now, I'm 33 years old. You'll see me on the green belt with my dog pulling me.
Oh, that's
Got a little
cool.
harness for him, so he can run as fast as he wants. And yeah, I still keep it alive.
That's awesome.
Okay, so what kind of board did you start with?
So I started with a zero board.
Okay.
If you're familiar with those. I had independent trucks and Spitfire wheels. Bearings, I had Red Bones bearings. Part of the problem for me too was like I had to buy my own skateboards. Like my parents never bought it for me. So like if you watch skaters now when they get upset and they don't land a trick, you see them slamming their board, getting pissed off. I was like, no, I gotta pay for that. Like, how do you guys have money to do this? So I was always just clench my fist, clench my teeth, didn't land the trick, and get up and try it again. That's one thing about skateboarding. I think that helps both wrestling, MMA, all that. Skaters can get hit, fall down, and then get right back up again. And a lot of people aren't used to that. So I think it's a real leg up. Any skateboarders listening out there, you should really think about getting into fighting.
Oh, man.
Segue.
Because you can get right back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally weird career path.
I know.
Yeah.
So skateboarding professionally didn't work out for you, right?
No,
So
it
what
didn't.
happened next?
So, so I ended up joining the Guard while I was still in high school, my senior year of high school in January. And it was kind of nice to have that weekend check. I could, $200 was a lot for a kid.
Did you join at 17?
I was 18.
Oh, okay.
So originally at 17, I wanted to join the Marines. And my dad wouldn't sign the paperwork, so I waited and waited. My stepdad was actually in the National Guard at the
Okay.
time. And he kind of gave me the extra push. Hey, you should try the National Guard. And I kind of liked it because I could keep one toe into being a civilian and one toe into being, military. And if I liked it, I could just go active later on. And that's what I liked about it, is kind of controlling my life.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So, and I didn't like how active duty would, tell you you're going to be stationed here. This is where you're going to live. Like I
Make
didn't
the
like
plans
move
for
around.
you.
Yeah, make the plans for me. And I liked Idaho too. So yeah, I joined up, and then that summer, went to basic training, came back, and when I came back in the fall from basic training and AIT, I began going to school because the Guard was paying for it and it's free. So why not?
Was that the hook?
So
Was that the hook for the Guard, or was
no,
it just service?
It was service. So one way or another, I had planned on serving in one of the forces. I wanted to pay my $1.05, if you will. I think everyone should be able to think about, paying your $1.05. But the reason I went to school is because the Guard was paying for it. I really didn't want to go, but there was so much pressure from my parents for me to go. That I was like, it's free. There's so many other people who want to go to school. Like, why am I giving up this opportunity? So I went. I ended up getting my bachelor's in criminal justice later on. But anyways, prior to that, I came home, did a semester of school. Right when I came home, I'm 19 years old, I find out I'm getting deployed to Iraq with the National Guard. That was in 2010 to 2011. So we were gearing up for deployment, went, did my deployment, and then while on deployment, I was struggling a little bit with some issues back home, some personal issues. And I found a jiu-jitsu group that met late at night after mission. So everyone was already dog-tired. But they met late at night. They had these mats, and they break them out. We had a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. We had a college wrestler, and we had a Golden Gloves boxer. So everyone has these different backgrounds and the power of YouTube. So we got together late at night. We practiced jiu-jitsu, boxing, all that. And we were beating the crap out of each other because we didn't know how to train, right? We were using those small gloves. We thought that's what we saw on YouTube. That's how you spar. And it was like, yeah, it was crazy. I can't believe I did what I did when I was over there. That's when I developed my cauliflower ear while I was over there.
Shoot, yeah.
I didn't have access to the needles to drain it for the longest time. So it just kind of blew up from there. But yeah, so we practiced, and it gave me some clarity, from what was going on, stuff I couldn't control at home, and it helped me more on missions, it helped me get through that deployment. So when I got back, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try one fight, just one fight, just to try it out.
Just to try.
And I got hooked. Yeah, my first year of fighting, I did 9 fights in the first 12 months of fighting, and then I started going a little slower from then on out. But so far, I think I'm on number 23 27 or 28.
28 fights?
Yep, amateur and pro career. So I was 9-6 in AMI and 8-5 as a pro.
Don't
So-
you have one coming up here soon, or you just had one?
So I did have one that was coming up this last December. I had a rib injury, and that's the hardest thing. When you get older, like, injuries happen so much easier. So yeah, I had to pull out for that one, but hoping to stay a lot more busy this year. The hardest part for me is keeping the gut down. You know, when you get older, that metabolism starts to slow down. You just gotta stay active, eat right. But if I can make weight, I can take a lot more fights, and yeah, hopefully we can get back on there and get a few more fights in this year.
That's so cool.
Yeah, 26 fights?
Yeah.
No, thank you. All right. So take us back to basic training. What was your basic training experience like?
Basic, physically, it was easy for me. And the reason being is because wrestling was so hard in high school, and we had a really, really good coach. Like, he broke you down and then built you up in wrestling. And so I felt like I already had that. The hardest part was dealing with all these other kids coming from all over the country with different backgrounds, different mindsets, and trying to work together as a team. Eventually, we did do that. But, you know, any wrestlers listening out there, like, your wrestling practice was so much harder, and it's going to prepare you 100% for basic. So physically, it was easy. Mentally, like, dealing with the people, a little more of a struggle.
Where did you go for basic?
I went to Fort Benning.
Okay.
Yep, so Fort Benning, Georgia. And I remember at RSP, I can't remember who told me this, but one of the RSP instructors told me the biggest thing you have to think about is just a game. The whole thing is just a game that you're playing. So they're going to make you do all this crazy stuff, say things that might not make sense to you. Just do it. Don't ask questions. Just follow orders and just get it done. And that's what got me through basic, is just thinking the entire time, this is just a game. It's going to be over. And then coming out on the other side of basic and AIT, like, it's a totally different environment, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what year did you enlist?
I enlisted in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
So this is Craig Ackerman's era.
Ackerman, he was my recruiter.
Yeah? Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He might have been the one who told me it's just a game.
That sounds
remember who
like
told
something
me,
he'd
but-
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's just a game.
he's a wise man.
Yeah.
I like Craig a lot. So, all right. Well, let's talk about your MMA career.
MMA. So yeah, I kind of told you how I got started.
Yep.
So yeah, I started fighting amateur, and I fought at featherweight, 145, and then lightweight, which is 155 pounds. Walked around about 160, 162. So amateur fight, I would fight anyone under the sun. Like, it doesn't matter. Your amateur career does not matter. Just keep fighting, keep fighting. It's okay to get losses. It's your pro career when it matters. So yeah, fought from 2011, right when I got back, like 2 months after I got back. And then I ended up going pro in 2015. Kind of the difference between professional and amateur fighting. People don't know this. But in amateur fighting, you have 3-minute rounds. Pro fighting, you have 5-minute rounds. In amateur fighting, you can only knee to the body. You can't knee to the head. And you can't throw elbows. In pro fighting, you can knee to the head, you can elbow to the head, and you can do heel hooks, which is basically wrenching off someone's leg. Different submissions that you can do in professional bouts.
Sounds fun.
So yeah.
No, it doesn't.
So I've had ups and downs. My in 2020, I got my teeth knocked out. These 2 teeth right here,
Oh,
2
man.
front teeth are fake. Got kicked in the face by one of my teammates, Steve. Shout out, Steve. Awesome kicks. And it's in practice. Most of your injuries are going to happen in practice. So I got kicked right in the face, and it didn't knock the teeth out. It broke them in half. So
Oh, wow.
it, like, the roots stayed in, and the other halves went back in my gums. So went to the ER, got some pain meds, slept that night. Next morning, went to surgery. I got them pulled out, got a bone graft put in there. So the bone graft is sitting in there. you have to let that sit, harden, and adapt to your body for like 9 months. So I'm letting it adapt. Find out I have another deployment 2021 to 2022. There's another deployment coming up. Right now we're in 2021. And so right before I leave for deployment, they drill the posts in. So they drill that straight into the bone. And now the posts are set. It heals. Now I still have no front teeth, but I have the little flipper. You can take them in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
But you can't eat with it. So I, from there, I'm going to cut this pause out here. I'm trying to think how it goes. So from here, I have no teeth. Those posts have to sit for 9 months. I go to get deployed with no teeth. Just my flipper. It's kind of my trademark, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mind having no teeth. But the problem is these outside ones, they'll start closing together if you don't keep that flipper in. So I have to keep it in. So I finally get back with no teeth, got a handful of money from my deployment in Syria. So I was like, all right, let's get some teeth and pay another $3,000 or $4,000. And they screw in the teeth and good to eat. Yeah. Good to eat steak,
Good thing
good
you're
to
a
eat whatever.
professional oatmeal eater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, just in case. Yeah. But no, they're
Wow.
solid. It's crazy. You can feel that when you take a bite, I can feel it up in my gums. It's crazy how.
Just the posts resonating through there.
Yeah.
Oh man, so what would you say your greatest accomplishment has been, just in life in general?
In life, that year was hard getting out of debt. That was probably one of my greatest accomplishments, and staying out of debt.
How old were you when you decided to make that choice?
I was a little bit old. I was 28. I think I started in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was the year that I did that. But everywhere there's advertisements. You need to have the latest phone. You need to have the latest car. It's always coming at us. But man, if you can get out of debt, especially staying away from student loans in the first place, like that's the one thing I told my stepson is like, dude, stay away from student loans because that's locks in for life. You can't bankrupt yourself out of that. But no, staying out of debt, and it's a constant struggle. There's constant temptations. Everyone has these new cars, new motorcycles, new everything. But being out of debt, it gives you so much more control over your life.
Less stress.
Less stress, yeah. I like to call it FU money that you have, right?
Right.
So no matter what's happening in your career, what's happening in your life, you can say, no, I don't need this anymore, and go somewhere else. It gives you control of your life. There's some people that get accustomed to a career that pays a ton of money, and they keep buying more toys and more things and more things. And if they lose a career, they lose their things. There's something about ownership, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Nobody thinks about that. If you lose your career, you lose your things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides my house, like I could literally work at McDonald's and make my payments. But that's constant temptation. Live within your means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good advice.
So.
Yeah. Like crazy down to earth advice. So if you could give advice to a high school student who's stressed about their future, maybe they were considering all their options, like you said, student debt, going to college, maybe even the military. But if you could take a 17 or 18-year-old and give them some life advice, what would it be?
3 things. The first thing, like I already said, stay out of debt. You don't need to get in debt. You might have a lot of pressure from your parents going to college right away. And if you don't know what you want to do, just wait. Live life a little bit first. Look for options as far as the guards, scholarships, like stay out of debt. Number 2, I would say invest in your 401k now while you're young. Think about your retirement, That's kind of hard for younger kids to think about now because, they want it now. Number 3 would be don't be afraid to fail. That's the biggest one.
That's great advice.
Take a
That's
chance and
important.
don't be afraid to fail. It's okay to fail because you can just keep trying again. So that would be the 3 things that I would tell a kid.
Now we're going to ask you our favorite question.
The most important one.
That's right.
Oh.
Is Sasquatch real?
Oh my gosh. You're going to hate my answer for this.
Oh, man.
I don't know. We've heard some answers.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My dad is a very strong believer that Sasquatch is real. I'm going to say no. I do not believe he's real. I think we have the technology to go out there and find him. He's not there. The only way he could be real is if he also is a wizard, has magical powers, and can make himself disappear. Like, no, I'm going to say Sasquatch is unfortunately not real.
Not a believer.
I'm not a believer. No, I'm sorry.
Right. So many things. Like you won the
Maybe
lottery.
Steve needs to kick him again.
I know. It's all right. Still, I mean, we got time. You can change your answer if you want.
Steve kind of looks like a Sasquatch, so yeah, he might try to.
Okay. Well, we are out of time for today. Join us next Wednesday for another episode of GI and a Cup of Joe.
As we said in the beginning of the podcast, please dress right dress and enjoy your week.